Before we dive into today's intense story, a quick reminder. Over 90% of our viewers watch our videos but aren't subscribed. If you enjoy content like this, take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if you find this story gripping, don't forget to like the video. It really helps us out.
I never thought I'd be the kind of man to tell this kind of story. For most of my adult life, I considered myself a lucky man. I had a stable job, a beautiful home, and most importantly, a wife I adored. Her name was Lauren. We met in college, and from the beginning, there was this calm certainty in the way we fell into step with each other. She had this infectious laugh, a way of making any place feel like home. People always told me how lucky I was, and I believed them. We built our life slowly but surely. No flashy romantic whirlwind, just a steady, comforting climb. I worked in logistics, often long hours, and Lauren eventually became a freelance interior designer. She had an eye for beauty, and I was proud of her. We were one of those couples who seemed to have everything figured out, or so I thought. Looking back, maybe I missed the signs. Maybe I was too wrapped up in my routines, too trusting, too comfortable. But that's the thing about betrayal. You never expect it from the people you'd give your life for. And Lauren, she was the last person I thought would ever lie to me. It started small. The little changes. She started staying up later than usual, working on design projects she never told me much about. She seemed distracted, her phone suddenly always on silent. At first I chalked it up to stress. She had taken on a few new clients, and I thought maybe the pressure was getting to her. But then there was the trip. She told me it was a weekend retreat, a creative getaway with other designers about 2 hours away. She said it was last minute, that a spot had opened up, and she couldn't say no. I was happy for her, told her to go, enjoy, take a break. I didn't even ask many questions. Why would I? She was my wife. She left on a Friday morning, kissed me goodbye at the door, told me she loved me. That night I stayed up late watching a movie and glanced at our shared calendar on the fridge. She had written Creative Workshop Asheville in her careful handwriting. Everything seemed normal. But Saturday night, something odd happened. I received a call from her sister Anna just checking in. She mentioned she had tried texting Lauren and hadn't heard back. That wasn't unusual, I said. Maybe the retreat had limited phone service. But after we hung up, a strange pit formed in my stomach. I tried calling Lauren. No answer. I texted. No reply. I didn't panic. Not right away. I told myself there was no reason to jump to conclusions. But a part of me, some small, quiet part, was already unraveling. The real unraveling began when she came back Sunday evening. I had cleaned the house, cooked her favorite pasta, even printed out some silly meme to make her laugh. It was a little tradition we had. When she walked in the door, I saw her before she saw me. She looked happy. Not the tired, inspired kind of happy you get from a creative retreat, a different kind of happy. I hugged her, and she hugged me back, but there was hesitation in it, a delay. That was the moment something broke. My gut screamed, and for the first time, I didn't ignore it. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I watched, quietly, closely. Over the next few weeks, I became a man I didn't recognize. I started noticing the gaps in her stories, the way she laughed at her phone screen when she thought I wasn't looking, the sudden interest in new perfume, the way she started locking her phone, something she had never done in 10 years together. I tried to rationalize. Maybe I was being paranoid, but one night, I couldn't take it anymore. She had gone to bed early, her phone charging on the kitchen counter, and I did something I had never done before. I opened it. Her passcode hadn't changed. That alone gave me a flicker of hope, but it lasted only seconds. There were no texts, no photos, no email. She had deleted almost everything, except one thing, a folder in her photo gallery labeled Mood Board 2. It looked like a collection of room layouts, color swatches, furniture arrangements, harmless. But buried in the middle was a photo, not of a room, not of a project, of a man. He wasn't someone I knew. He was sitting in what looked like a hotel bed, shirtless, smiling at the camera. Her caption was short, "Wish you were still here." My hands went cold, my vision tunneled. I just stood there, holding her phone like it was radioactive. I didn't even feel anger yet, just this deep, cavernous disbelief. I didn't wake her. I didn't say a word. I copied the photo to my phone, locked hers again, and stood in the kitchen staring at nothing for almost an hour. The next morning, I pretended nothing had happened. For 2 weeks, I lived like a ghost in my own house. I didn't eat much. I barely slept. I researched the man, used facial recognition, social media, even reverse image searches. Eventually, I found him. His name was Colin. He was a contractor she'd hired 6 months ago for a remodeling job at a client's vacation home. They had posted photos of the work on her portfolio page. That's where it started. Suddenly, everything added up. The late nights, the sudden weekends away, the locked phone. But knowing wasn't enough. I needed to understand. I needed to hear it from her. So I set a trap. One evening, I casually brought up a trip I was planning for work. I told her I'd be gone for 3 days. She acted disappointed, kissed me goodbye the next morning. I waited until she left the house, then circled back an hour later and parked down the street. It took less than a day. That night, Colin pulled into my driveway. I watched from the shadows, phone in hand, heart pounding like war drums. He rang the bell. She answered in a robe. They kissed. He came inside. I didn't take a video. I didn't burst in. I just stood there watching the pieces of my life collapse behind the curtains of my own home. And I made a decision. This wasn't going to end with screaming or throwing her out or any dramatic meltdown. Number I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. I was going to take everything back. My dignity, my peace, my future. That night, I drove to my brother's house and stayed there. I didn't answer her texts. I didn't come home. I wanted her to stew in the silence. The next day, I contacted a lawyer. I started pulling bank records, gathering proof, planning. The betrayal had already happened, but the revenge, that was only beginning. The silence was my weapon, and I wielded it with precision. Lauren tried calling me 5 times the first day I didn't come home. She sent texts that started casual. "Where are you?" Then shifted to worried, "Please call me," and finally turned into frustration. "Are you ignoring me on purpose?" I didn't answer a single one. I didn't have to. Let her panic. Let her wonder. I needed space, not just to think, but to prepare. For 3 days, I stayed at my brother Ethan's place. I told him everything. Unlike me, Ethan had always been suspicious of Lauren, though he never voiced it out of respect. He was furious on my behalf, but he also knew I wasn't going to just walk away from the life I had built without thinking things through. He offered support, not judgment. That meant everything. The first thing I did was open a separate bank account. Quietly, without alerting Lauren. I transferred a portion of my paycheck into it and changed my account notifications to a private email. I started gathering all our joint account statements, searching for hidden expenses, unfamiliar charges, even hotel bookings that might not match her work trips. I found plenty. Receipts from upscale restaurants in cities she never told me she visited. Multiple charges from the same boutique hotel chain. She had been sloppy, careless, or maybe she had just been confident I'd never look. Meanwhile, I went to work like everything was normal. I replied to Lauren's texts only once on the 4th day. "I need time. Don't call me." That one message kept her hanging. She didn't know if I knew, and that uncertainty was part of the plan. By the end of the week, I had also accessed our cloud photo backups. She had deleted everything from her phone, but not from the cloud. There they were, dozens of photos of her and Colin, holding hands on hiking trails, sharing drinks. One picture of her lying on a hotel bed, smiling with the same expression she used to give me after we'd share inside jokes. That one nearly crushed me. But the pain had started to mutate into something else. Not rage, something colder. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry in front of her. I was going to take back control, quietly, ruthlessly. That weekend, I returned home. She was in the kitchen when I walked in, like she had been waiting there for hours. Her face lit up with a mixture of shock and relief. She rushed to hug me, but I sidestepped her and dropped my bag on the floor. "I just needed to think," I said calmly. She studied me, trying to read if I knew. I gave her nothing. We sat in silence for a while. She tried making small talk, asking if I'd eaten, offering to cook. I declined. The tension was thick. She was trying to bridge the distance, but I let her flounder. That night, I slept in the guest room. Over the next few days, I went about life like a ghost. I barely spoke. I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. That confused her more than anything. She tried everything. Apologies for things she wouldn't name. Extra affection, offering to cancel meetings to spend time with me. But I remained steady, cold, emotionless. She had no idea that while she was trying to play house again, I had already met with the divorce lawyer. I made copies of everything, bank statements, texts, photos, even a private investigator's brief report confirming the affair. The PI had caught Colin visiting again on a Wednesday afternoon when I worked late. They even caught a photo of him leaving with Lauren kissing him at the door. That was the final nail. I was advised not to confront her yet, so I waited. I let her dig her own grave. And then came the moment I was waiting for. She told me she had to attend a conference in Charleston. 2 days, just her and a few designers. Same pattern, same lie. I told her, "Of course, you should go." She smiled. She thought she still had me fooled. I didn't even follow her this time. I didn't need to. Instead, I drove to her sister's house with a manila envelope and sat with Anna over coffee. I had debated whether to involve her, but she deserved the truth. She adored Lauren, and I knew this would hit her hard. But I also knew she was loyal to what's right. I told her everything, showed her the evidence. I saw the color drain from her face. "I knew something felt off," she whispered. She told me she was just stressed. "I can't believe this." "I'm sorry you have to be in the middle," I said, but I needed someone from her side to know. She's going to try to spin it. I wanted you to hear it from me first. Anna didn't hesitate. "Whatever you need, I'm with you." While Lauren was out designing, I moved out. I had already leased a small apartment downtown, enough space for me to restart. That Friday, with the help of Ethan and a moving crew, I packed my essentials and left. I left the wedding photos behind. I left the memories. I left the man who had once been too trusting. The final move? I scheduled a courier to deliver the divorce papers and my evidence portfolio to Lauren, timed for the morning she returned from her conference. That Saturday, my phone exploded. Dozens of missed calls, texts ranging from denial to rage to begging. But I was done. I ignored every message until Monday. Then I sent one text. "I know everything. Check your mail. This conversation is now between lawyers." She didn't respond. That night, Anna called. Lauren had come over sobbing, screaming about betrayal and accusations. Anna told her she had known for days and that there was nothing to defend. She said Lauren looked genuinely shocked that I had done something like this. That's the part that stuck with me. Not the cheating, not the lies, but the audacity, the entitlement, that she thought I'd never find out, or worse, that I'd never do anything about it. She underestimated me. For the first time in months, I slept peacefully. Over the following weeks, she tried reaching out again, through friends, through family, even an old mutual coworker. She wrote letters, long, rambling explanations filled with half-truths and pleas. She said it had only been emotional at first. She said she had felt disconnected from me. She said she was confused. But nowhere in any of it did she say she regretted it. Not once. She regretted being caught. She regretted losing comfort, but not what she did. The divorce moved forward. I kept things civil, professional. I didn't demand everything. I didn't want a war. I just wanted out. I wanted freedom. And I wanted her to live with the fact that I walked away on my terms. I didn't just survive her betrayal, I made sure it never defined me. But I wasn't done yet, because revenge, the kind that truly lasts, isn't loud. It's not shouting or property damage or social media blasts. It's the silence of a man rebuilding his life better than before. It's the pain in her chest when she sees me laughing again, succeeding, thriving without her. And there was still one last card I had to play. Freedom didn't arrive with a bang. It came slowly, almost unnoticeably. A quiet calm replaced the noise Lauren had brought into my life. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells, analyzing every word, wondering what I was missing. I was just breathing. After moving into my apartment, I focused on things that made sense: routine, simplicity, peace. The place was small, nothing fancy, but it felt honest. It didn't need to be perfect. I just needed it to be mine. I didn't reach out to Lauren. I didn't respond to her letters or answer her calls. She sent long emails explaining herself, trying to paint her betrayal as some tragic misstep born from emotional confusion. I read them once, then deleted them. I wasn't interested in her justifications. Not anymore. What struck me most was how she still didn't apologize for what she did, only for how things turned out. There was regret for getting caught, for losing the life she had built, but not for the choices she made behind my back. That clarity hardened something in me. I had questioned myself for too long, wondering if I had missed something, failed somehow, but I hadn't. I had been present, loyal, honest. She hadn't. Word eventually spread among our old circle of friends. People who used to admire our perfect relationship started learning the truth. I didn't speak ill of her. I didn't have to. The facts spoke for themselves. The silence I maintained did more damage to her than any angry outburst ever could. And Colin? The man she threw our marriage away for. He was never meant for the long run. As soon as things got complicated, once the secrecy was gone, he distanced himself, blocked her, disappeared. Classic. Lauren was left with the pieces, not just of our marriage, but of her image, her friendships, her comfort. People stopped calling. Some clients pulled away. Even her sister Anna refused to make excuses for her. I didn't celebrate her fall. I just kept building my own recovery. I poured myself into my job. I started running again. I even joined a local book club, something I hadn't done in years. Slowly, the weight started to lift. The version of me who doubted everything was fading. In his place was a man who had survived the worst and learned from it. But I wasn't done yet. During the divorce, I learned that Lauren had used our joint finances to fund parts of her affair. Hotels, dinners, even gifts. My lawyer told me I had grounds to recover some of those funds through a civil claim. At first, I didn't care about the money, but the principle? That mattered. I filed the claim. Quiet, professional, legal. She was furious, called it vindictive. But she had no defense. The records were clear, the expenses traceable. She had to repay part of it, along with legal costs. It wasn't about revenge in the traditional sense. I didn't want to destroy her. I just wanted the record corrected. She had taken something from me. I simply took it back. Then I erased her from my life completely, blocked her number, removed every photo, stopped listening to updates from mutual friends. I wasn't angry. I was finished. One afternoon, a letter came from her mother. I hadn't expected that. It was handwritten, short, honest. "Daniel, I'm sorry for everything. You were a good man. You didn't deserve what my daughter did. I hope you find peace. Margaret." I read it twice. Not because it made me emotional, but because it was the only real acknowledgement I'd received from anyone on her side that confirmed what I had come to understand deep down. I wasn't the broken one. Lauren made her choices, and now she had to live with them. I kept moving forward. The days stopped feeling heavy. The memories stopped hurting. Places we once visited became just locations again. Her name stopped echoing in my thoughts. Eventually, someone new came into my life. No dramatic love story, just calm, slow trust. We met at a local community event. She was warm, grounded, and asked questions that mattered. I told her the truth early on. She didn't flinch, she just listened. One night, we sat on my balcony watching the city lights. She asked if I still hated Lauren. I said no. Hate would mean I was still emotionally invested, and I wasn't. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And that's where I had finally landed. Lauren will always be a chapter in my life, but she's not the whole story. The real revenge in the end wasn't her pain. It wasn't taking her to court. It wasn't watching her life unravel. It was choosing to live, to rise above it, to reclaim my peace, to wake up each day knowing I never stooped to her level. She thought she destroyed me, but she only made space for something better, and I'll never let her back in again.